Hello, everyone. Pardon me. Be starting here in just a moment. I'm starting a tad bit early so I can do my technical checks, make sure I'm streaming as I should be. Looks good so far. Let me check the other spots. Logged on LinkedIn. I think we're good to go. I'm live on Twitch. Good. Well, thanks for joining me today. Doesn't look like anybody's watching yet, which is fine. I'll be starting in about 2 minutes. So until then, wish I had some music or something for you. Oh, there's somebody joining. Hello, welcome. Waiting just a moment to get started. Give everybody a chance to join. Scheduled start time was 4 p.m. and I'm a minute early still. Got 3 people. Welcome. Starting in about 1 more minute. Just waiting until 4 o'clock rolls around. All right, my clock says 4 o'clock. Let me start talking about what I'm doing today. So today, my plan is to build a GitHub Actions script or pipeline for my open source project, Civic, which I've been working on for a while. I already have CI server working just fine, but it's using GitLab. Honestly, I prefer GitLab over GitHub. So I thought about switching the other direction, just moving everything over to GitLab, just to simplify things. But I've decided for GitHub for a couple of reasons. One, it's a little more popular for open source stuff. It's where the project is already hosted. So switching to GitLab would be a little bit of friction for anybody trying to add a pull request or something like that. They'd have to, I could still keep it on GitHub and have a link to GitLab or whatever, but it would be a little bit of a hassle. I don't want to change the import URL from GitHub. That's even more of a hassle for the users of the project. And the last thing, sort of the last straw, was GitLab requires that every year I resubmit a sort of a request for free access for an open source project, which isn't a big deal, but like the last time it came up, I forgot, and I didn't have CI working for like 3 or 4 weeks while I was trying to get it all straightened out. So anyway, long story short, I've decided to move my CI configuration from GitLab to GitHub. And the thing that brought it up today is I had somebody submitted a couple pull requests, and one of them I already merged. The other one looks like it's running. No, it hasn't. No, it did run. But it ran because I had to trigger the CI manually. It didn't automatically pick that up. The little bridge between GitHub and GitLab didn't pick it up because it was on a different project. So anyway, all that to say, I'm going to today configure GitHub Actions for this project and delete my GitLab configuration. So let's get started. It does mean I already have all the tests and everything running in a different system. So it's more of a translation rather than building it from scratch. But should still be interesting. So let's create a branch. Call it GHA for GitHub Actions. And I do already have some GitHub Actions running here. The Go Releaser workflow runs in GitHub Actions. So There's another reason to combine them is to have everything in one place. Let's pull up the existing GitLab configuration. And I know this is a little bit of a complex. What's this? I don't care about Minikube right now, for goodness sake. So there's a little bit of a build matrix. In fact, let me pull that up to demonstrate, to show you what I'm going to be looking at. Hopefully it's not too complicated, but I don't think I've ever done matrices in GitHub Actions, so that might be a challenge. So you can see all these tasks here. Some of these should be like a matrix thing. I have 3 different versions of Go with 3 different versions of CouchDB. So that should be a 3x3 matrix, right? Down here, though, I also have a whole bunch more that were hidden. 42 things in here. I have Go 1.17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, and 23 RC2s. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 versions of Go, along with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 versions of CouchDB. So I have a few different matrices going on here. And I don't actually know how well it's going to work in GitHub Actions. I'll probably start with that simple, the linter. That's simple. Yeah, let's do that first. Just going to pull that one up as sort of a guideline, right? Let's create linter.yaml here. And let's give it a name. Let's call it Golang CI lint. Actually, no, I'm just going to call it linter because I do a couple other checks in here that aren't from Golang CI lint. I'll just simplify and call it all linter. This one needs to be on pull request. Why is this all red? Oh, because I'm missing jobs. Yeah, I'll get there. I'll get there. Jobs. Okay. So I'm debating whether to take off master because, like, in theory, you can pull requests against other branches too. Can't see my screen. Oh, thank you for telling me. Thank you for telling me. There, that should be better. Thanks a lot. So, yeah, I've barely started, so glad I cut that early. So I've just started filling in this file. I'm debating whether or not to run this only on master or on all branches. I'll leave it on master for now. The only time I would ever have a pull request, actually, you know what? I don't want that. I want it on all branches. I actually do have a V1 branch. I don't use that one anymore, but I could have like a V4. So for semantic versioning in Go, if you have multiple major versions you support, you have to they end with a V number. So I'm on V4 right now. So in theory, I could create a patch for V3. I haven't had to, I don't think. But if I ever have a bug report come in for V3, I would want to do that, and I would still want CI to run for that. So I'll just do it like this, yeah. And I don't need branches at all. Just like on pull request. All right, jobs. Let's do Golang CI lint. The first job, and we'll call it Golang CI-lint. And yeah, runs on Ubuntu latest, looks good. Permissions, I don't think I need to worry about permissions right now. Let's go with some steps here. This is automatically filled in incorrectly. There's a new version of checkout. Isn't it version 4 now? Let me check. I should do it on the same screen so you can see what I'm doing here. I want to see what GitHub Actions version is available. version 4.17. Okay, so let's say at v4. Go ahead and bump this one here at the same time. Set up Go. Let's see if there's a new version of that. I don't really trust Copilot to be up to date on these sorts of things, of course. Version 5. Okay. And I want version 1.22. And then I want to run the thing, except there's actually an action for this too. So let me find that. GitHub Actions, links, lint. How to use. Okay. Workspace example. I don't know that. Oh, I'm not using workspaces. Simple example. Let's try that. Check out, set up Go. All right. Fix indentation here. All right. Quite. What's the latest version of Golang CI-lint? Latest version is apparently 1.59.1. Okay. All right, I think that's kind of all I need. I'm going to add more things to this, but I'm going to start with this, okay? Add Golang CI-lint to GitHub Actions. Let's push that up to GitHub. I'll open a pull request, and I'll continue adding that pull request here before I actually merge anything. Switch from GitLab CI to GitHub Actions. All right. Meanwhile, while this is running, I see a question in chat here. It says it just registered to a master degree in DevOps and learning Golang. Need 10-second advice or personal study guide. No, not really. So what is it? What is a master degree in DevOps? That's a very interesting concept. If you're learning Go, I have a video on my channel about the best books to learn Go in 2023. That's maybe a good place to start. It's 2024 now, but the list really hasn't changed. My number one recommendation in that video is John Bodner's book, Learning Go. There's a new edition of that book out now, and that is my top recommendation. I keep hoping to have time to do an updated video for this year, although at this point it's not likely to happen. I'm in the middle of a intercontinental move, and just life is in the way. So I probably won't be updating that video this year, but maybe. Anyway, point is, that's my top recommendation as far as books go. So yeah, I guess that's it. I don't know if you have something more specific you're interested in, let me know. Okay, the job failed. So let's see what we did wrong. What I did wrong. I say we as though I can share the blame with anybody else. Oh, the linter is actually failing. I don't know why. Actually, I have a really good reason, a really good guess why it's not working here, but was working before. And that is that I probably changed the version. Yeah. So I'm going to change back. I'm going to change the same version I was using before. I mean, I definitely want to update in this version and fix that lint, but I want to do it one step at a time. I don't want to change too many things at once. So I'd rather fix the lint, or do the sort of lift and shift of where CIs run, and then I will update the configuration and fix the new lint, the new version detects. That's my intention. Oh, I think I have 2 linter jobs here, actually. Yeah, I do. That's fine. So we'll get there. So that actually reminds me, I need to put 2 linter jobs in here too. So the thing that's happening, I have 2 modules in the same repo. So that's our first little niggle of complication. That should be pretty easy to resolve, though. I think I'll do it just by adding another step here, or I could do a separate job. I have to think about how I want to do that. And so why would I choose one over the other? If I do 2 jobs, then it will be clear when one fails which one it is. And that's essentially what I have right now in GitLab. Okay, the linter passed this time. That's good. Let me pull up. That's not what I wanted. I want to show you what the old job looks like. And so the old one I have linter and linter x SQLite. X SQLite is the other module in the same package. The most important consideration is that if I want when the linter fails, I want it to be clear to me or to whoever's created the pull request which part of the linter failed. Which package. Making 2 jobs would make that fairly straightforward to detect. The only real downside to that is that it'll take a little bit longer because it has to check things out twice. I'm going to start with just another job, or I'm sorry, another step in the same job. Actually, I'm not sure. I have to think about this a little bit further. So here I just changed directory. I don't know if that's possible with the GitHub action. Let me look this up here a little bit. See if there's like a configuration option for like the running directory or something like that. There is, working directory. Okay, this should be super easy then. I think I can just copy this. Doesn't like the way this thing's being lined up, does it? I was trying to mimic the indentation I had over here in this file. But I don't think VS Code likes that indentation. Anyway, working directory. Useful for mono repos, which is essentially what I have here. So with working directory is /x/SQLite. I should let me rename these to main module, and then X SQLite module. Where's my proper console? There it is. Oops, too many white spaces, whatever. All right, let's see how this one works. So while that's running, I'm going to talk about what I'll be doing next. So the next thing I want to do after the linter's working on both modules is I want to, I have a couple other checks I do, and this is one. I check that my go.mod file is up to date and, well, not up to date, but clean. It doesn't verify that I have, whether or not I have new versions of dependencies, but that it is up to date with what dependencies I'm using are, and that it doesn't have any extra cruft in it. So that's what this line does. And then I have the same thing down here. It's a little more complicated for the main module because the main module has to support versions back to go 1.17. Whereas the submodule, the reason it's a submodule in the first place is that it only supports 1.22 and newer. I think I can close that window now. Let me go back to this. Let's refresh and see if our job is completed yet. Aims to have completed. Is this the old run or the new one? We got SQLite module and main module. It seems to have worked. That's pretty sweet. All right, so let's check go mod. Name. Let's say I'm going to rename these a little bit more. So on this main module, lint, SQLite module lint, and I'll do main module go.mod. And let me see, I think I can just do run like this and copy and paste that command I had, which I need the one from down here. And then I'll do the same for the other one. It's smart enough to know I need to change directories. I don't need this compat thing here. I just need go mod tidy. All right, and then there's one other thing I just noticed. That is in the main module only. I can just go generate thing. This is two different commands, but what this does is it runs go generate and then sees if there's any difference. This will help me detect if I make some change to my go generated code, but I forget to commit it. All right, let's make this change. And go.mod and go generate checks. Oops. All right, that's running. And what's next after that? So after this, I will delete the linters. Actually, I'll just start on that right now. Delete that. And where's the other one? Linter. This one. Delete these both from GitHub, from GitLab CI. Then I'll probably sort of start my way down the file. I'll start with this because it's probably fairly simple. Also, the main tests depend on CouchDB running in Docker, which is a little more complicated to set up. That's what these variables are for. We'll get to that. Yeah, I think my next step will be to get the tests running for the SQLite package that I'm, the submodule, and 2 versions of Go. So it's still a matrix build, but it's a very simple one. Let's see how we're doing here. Looks like it completed. Yeah, looks good. Right. Remove linter from GitLab. Okay. So now I'm going to start on tests. Now I suppose I have to decide if I might postpone this decision, but all my tests in a single workflow, or do I want like one workflow? I probably want one workflow for the SQLite package or module and one for the other. I also have this coverage thing that does test coverage reporting. I have go. What am I doing here? I'm a little bit surprised to see that because I have releaser in GitHub Actions as well. Oh, okay. So this isn't Go releaser. So that's another part I can move. This is creating a release tag, which I guess has to be in GitHub Actions for what I was doing. That's why it's there. So I have tests to move, my code coverage calculation, and this part that actually builds a release of the CLI tool is part of it. And I'm going to start with the tests for the SQLite module. So let's call this test SQLite.yaml. I may decide to put it all in the same file later on. I don't know. If I do decide that, I'll probably rename it to just test or something. This part I can just copy, and then I'll rename from linter to test SQLite. You know what? I'm going to call it test x SQLite. Just, yeah, no, I'm not. I don't think it matters. All right. So some of this is going to be very similar. The checkout part and setting up Go, that part's all pretty much the same. My indentation is off again. I don't know what I should do about that. I want my editor to do it consistently, and it's not. Okay. Checkout is fine. Set up Go. So this needs to be, I'll have to figure out how to change this to a matrix because I want to either do 1.22 or 1.23.rc2. I'll get there. I want to name this something else. Let's just call it test for now. Maybe I'll think of a better name. Okay, and then run tests. I think I can just copy this, get rid of these weird bullet points. Right, so this should work, except there's only for one version to go, but let's make sure it works. Once I know that works, then I know that my script is all good and everything, and then I'll work on that matrix thing. Actually, I'm going to start looking up how to do that right now while I'm waiting for that run to happen. Use a matrix for your jobs. Okay, so I need to looks pretty straightforward. How do I reference that? Okay. It's pretty straightforward. We'll get there in just a second. Let's make sure this all works. Because now I have two jobs. Good. Linter is running. Tests are running. "48 seconds. That seems like a long time, but okay. Oh, it looks like it passed. Good. It worked. So let's do this matrix deal. So we're going to add a strategy matrix thing. After I copied it, I then type it instead of paste it. Matrix over. Okay. 1.22 RC3. And then here I need $, matrix go dash version. Let's give that a shot. All right, we'll see how this goes. I think the next challenge, okay, now, yeah, we've got two jobs. That's good. One for 1.22 and 1.122. It's typoed. It's 122 RC3, which isn't a thing. Well, it might be, but it's not the thing I want. I want 123 RC2. Let's try that again. All right, let's try that again. Yeah, failed. So I think the next challenge is going to be to run these CouchDB instances. So I run it against various versions, 2.20, 2.31, etc., etc. And yeah, I'm going to want to, I suppose I'll start with just a single version, probably 2.2.0, or maybe I'll start with 3.3.3. It doesn't matter. And a single version of Go. I'll get that working. Then I already know how to do the multiple versions of Go quite trivially. It's going to, and in fact, once I have CouchDB started correctly, that'll be easy. So yeah, I'll just start with a single version of CouchDB, get that working, and then I'll add the matrix stuff. Okay, this is failing. Why is this failing? Because the setup Go bit doesn't know how to get an RC3. That's nice. Not really. So let's see if the setup Go thing supports RC releases. First, let's see if there's any issues about 1.23. Two closed issues. I think, I don't know. Let's see. Okay, so I can use 1.23x. I probably want the same for 122. Let me check. I'm wondering if it's running 122.0 or 122 there. So let's look at the logs and see. I didn't even finish for some reason. It just says 1.22. Okay, I got 1.22.5, so that's fine. But let's try this .x for this 123 and see what happens. If that works, I might want to do the 122.x also just for consistency. It's a little bit strange that 122 by itself works, but 123 by itself doesn't. But we'll see. It failed anyway. It still failed. Why did it fail? All right, so this comment is apparently just wrong. Check latest equals true. Let's try adding that. I'm not highly confident that's going to help, but it's out here. Someone had another thing about it. So it looks like this doesn't support RCs, which is kind of annoying. Let's just see if there's another option for this. GitHub Actions, go line 1, 2, 3, RC 2. It's not really what I want to see. How to run Golang RC in GitHub Actions. Well, I'm completely unconfident that this is going to work, but I'm going to go ahead and commit it and try while I'm continuing to research. I might as well let that slim chance run in the background while I'm doing this. Here's a question about 1.16 beta. It's an old issue, but let's see what they come up with. I guess you can specify a very specific Go version, but I did that already. I put 1.23 RC2. There's already a specific version that should work. I don't know. Doesn't look promising. Yeah, it's still not working. Attempting to resolve the latest version from the manifest. Failed to resolve. Attempts to download it anyway, apparently. It's kind of annoying. Why was this closed if it's not working? I have to wonder. Yeah, it doesn't contain it that I can see. Okay, so definitely manifest is not included. All right, I don't know what I'm going to do about this. I suppose I'll just, for now, I'm going to comment out the broken. I'll just delete this for now. What does the comment look like here? There we go. All right. For now, I'm just going to not fix that. I'll figure out something later. Or maybe I just won't run release candidates on my CI pipeline. for now, let's move on to the next test. I'm going to just copy and paste this whole thing into the new file and rename it to just tests. This is test for the main module. Oh, hang on. I need to rename something else too. This is still called Golang CI lint, and I'll call it test. Same here. Okay, now I need to, well, let's do this. I'm not going to run the full test suite because it's not running the integration test yet. But the next, once that's working, then I will start to add these environment variables. You see each one of these is exported depending on which version is set. I want to do something similar. I'll start with one and then make that work and then try to figure out how to get that service to work. In GitLab, it's as simple as telling which Docker image to run. I don't remember how to do that in GitHub, but we'll learn. All right, so my new test job is running right here. Looks like I'm working just fine. Should finish pretty soon. There we go. All right, let's figure out how to add a service. How to run database in GitHub Actions. Okay, uses a services concept also. Before I even try to read all of the documentation, let's just see how easy it is. Maybe it's as simple as just copying and pasting some things here. So let's do, suppose it needs to go up here at the top, yeah, before steps. Before steps, okay. Services. CouchDB. Image, CouchDB 2.2.0, sure, okay. I don't know what options is for. I don't think I need that. I'm not using it, anything like that over here anyway. I do have this script that I need to run, but that is part of, there's some variables I need to set. And I suppose I'll go ahead and set that here. I'm not sure that's the best place for it ultimately, but let's try. So services, and in it goes under there, okay. So actually CouchDB user should be admin and ABC123. It actually doesn't matter as long as they're known by both the test and the code. CouchDB is also just fine. But I'll use what I've been using. Right, then I need to run this script. I'm going to run it as a separate step just for clarity's sake. Prepare CouchDB. I wish I could spell. prepare, and we'll do run. I don't know. I'll just try it like this. I'm not sure if doing an export there is actually going to be effective, but I guess we'll find out. If this works, it will take longer. And hopefully we'll have some evidence of the new CouchDB service starting. Let's see what we can find. Okay, it's downloading the service container. That's a good sign. Waiting for all services to be ready. Okay. Prepare CouchDB failed. I don't know why it failed. Okay, okay, I do see why. Because these environment variables were not environment variables on there. Let me see. I want to make these environment variables like global maybe for the whole thing. Is that possible? Let me see. For all jobs, let's try that. Looks like I can put it above steps at least. Let's put it here and see if it works for services as well as the steps. Let's pull this up and see how things are going. Still had a failure. Doesn't look like that worked. It's a little bit frustrating. All right, I'll actually read the documentation now and see if I can understand what's going on. Let's put end all the way up there, it looks like. Let's try that. Whoops, I hit the wrong button. Let's try again. And one thing I like about GitLab is that it starts one service for all the tests to use. I hope I get the same benefit here, but we'll see. Still doesn't seem to be working. I'm so confused why that is. Do I need to access these environment variables differently? Are they not just environment variables? Day of week. It looks like they are. Why isn't this working? Let me see if it was working, if the log would tell me for the service. Initialize containers, okay. Do I have any evidence that it's working here? Not really. I would expect to see -e, get CouchDB user, etc., but that's not seem to be happening either. I wonder if it did happen when I had that in the other place. Let me try just moving it back. Actually, I'm going to copy it there right now to the services section. What's it complaining about here? Okay, you're still failing, of course, but let's see what's going on. Specifically, let's see if we have an indication that the environment variables are passed properly here. Yes, they are set here, but not also here where I need them. So what's going on? What's going on? So that's what I'm doing. So as you can see, to define an environment variable for use in a single workflow, which is what I care about, you can use the env key in the workflow file. What I'm doing. Yes, I did it just like this. Right here. I'm going to demonstrate using it just like this, which is essentially what I'm doing here. So why isn't it working? I'll do something silly. This should hopefully tell me whether my problem is that this variable isn't actually in scope or that there's something else wrong with the script, right? No, that didn't work. Why didn't that work? Over here I see, and then I can see it right here. What the heck? What the heck? It's telling me the environment is set to this. Oh, it could be that silly and stupid. No, it's the same. Oh, I'm so confused. Let's try. I don't know. We do and with beer also. And we'll just dump the entire environment out as the shell sees it. So let's see what it thinks the environment is. It's a rather long environment, but let's see. CouchDB password is set. Okay, that's in there. So what's the problem here? Okay, so it works with these curly braces around it for some reason, but not without it. I don't know. I don't have any idea what it is, but I'm willing to go with it. It's kind of best practice anyway. So you see, I already did it on the next line. I don't know why it's necessary, but let's try that. All right, what happened now? I didn't do it. Didn't do it. I'm not sure what to do. I'm so confused here now. Close the wrong window. So the echoes worked. Echo user, echo password. That's fine. Oh, what the hell? Okay, for kicks and giggles here, I'm going to something else here too. Maybe the problem isn't the variables at all. Maybe it's something else, right? So let me do this. Maybe this export is actually working, and the problem is with this script. Tell me. It's obscuring some of this. It's hard to tell. Let's try something else here. Try base64 encoding that to see. That way, GitHub Actions won't obscure it, because it's already obscured. But we can see exactly what's happening that way. It does include it. Okay. Now I'm going to revert something. I'm going to go back to without these squigglies and see if that works. Do what I want. I'm actually going to put the squigglies back in because I like them better. But I'm really curious why this wasn't working before. So this little experiment will help me know whether I was just, my test was broken. I kind of went down the wrong rabbit trail, or if that actually was the problem that those squigglies were missing. So the squigglies didn't matter. That was just a whole wild goose chase. All right, well, I'm putting the squigglies back because they're better, but that was dumb. But what's happening then is something else. I'm getting this error. It's not really an error. It's just this weird output that says couch 2.2.0:5984//users. So maybe there's a problem with this script. It's very likely. Right, here's that script. Don't know what's happening. I guess I'll add some debugging here. Yeah, do this. That'll help a little bit. What that should do is tell the script to print every line as it's executing, so I can maybe see where the failure is happening. Nothing. 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 What is going on? I didn't expect either of these to be output because it doesn't look to me like it's running that script at all. But I don't know where this output is coming from either. Let's see. Debugging CI scripts like this is frequently quite frustrating because it's really hard to like attach to a traditional debugger. Or traditional unit tests don't really help very much. You end up with a lot of trial and error, and waiting on remote servers to do stuff for you. I got both outputs, 1 and 2. All right, I'm so confused now. Why is this not doing anything? Oh, I know why. Because I did it wrong. It's supposed to be set. Stupid thing. Let's try this yet again. Okay, so what the? Oh, there's an echo right here. What? That must be some old debugging code I left in from a long time ago. I don't need that. That's where that output was coming from, though. Okay. Well, the problem appears to be getting a status of 0. I have an idea what's going on. I think I need to look at the documentation for these services again. So my question is, how do I connect to that service once it started? What's it called? Like the host name, for example, here, Oracle. So I think that might be my problem. It might be that I'm trying to connect to a service apparently called Couch 2.2.0, which doesn't make any sense. Why would that even work over here? I guess that's just the name that GitLab uses. So, but I think here it's called CouchDB. I think it's the same name as this. Let's try that. That may not work when I have multiple versions, but we'll see. Key is to make it work in baby steps instead of trying to do everything at once. So much easier that way. Still failing. And I still don't know why. So I'm going to disable the silent thing here and let curl just tell me what's going on. Thing is, that's going to break the script in other ways, because the script actually reads the output from curl. And when it's not silent anymore, then the output's much different. But hopefully I'll still be able to get a clue what the problem is by doing it this way. We'll see. Could not resolve host. Okay. So how do we, so I was at least on the right track. I don't know how to talk to these services. I have to specify ports. I didn't even think of that. I guess I assumed it was somewhat automatic. So in this example, they don't do that for the database. They do for Redis. I don't know what it is. What's the name of the service is not label name. That's good to know. Although I'm confused because it doesn't seem to work that way. You don't need to configure any ports for service containers. By default, all containers that are part of the same Docker network. Okay, so what's the problem then? Let me look at the logs. See if maybe something crashed or something. These services, it doesn't look like it. Maybe I need to wait for, maybe I haven't waited long enough and the service isn't completely up yet. I've had that problem in the past. I thought I had solved it in the script, but I don't see the script doing any sort of ping or timeout. Or maybe that's what this, no, I don't know what I was expecting that, but I don't see it happening. Hmm. Let me see about finding a health check. Maybe that's what I need to do. You just use Docker as a default health check then, huh? Which might be sufficient, but I'm not sure. And certainly, it shows signs of having started. That's about. So these are logs from the container, but I don't know if these happened after. If these are from the beginning, or if this is like after the shutdown started. What was the fit? Was it? Okay, I have a really simple idea how to try this out. Could not resolve host. Let's just put a sleep in there and see if that makes a difference. So right here, sleep. Let's try 60 seconds. If that makes a difference, then that's a really strong indicator that the problem is that this is running before the service is ready. I need to figure out how to either make it wait in a loop or make the health check smarter or something like that. All right, there's our 1 minute sleep, so I get to wait a little bit, see what happens. Well, that changed things. I'm not sure if it did any good though. Still unable to resolve host. Okay. So not really any closer as far as I can tell. But it did change the log output here, but I think it's just longer log output. So it tells me this is the log output from the beginning, and just having the server running for 60 seconds meant that it had more errors for these databases that don't exist yet. So frustrating. So frustrating. Why can it not resolve host CouchDB? Maybe I'll ask Google that. It's not GitHub.com that it can't resolve. Let's try ChatGPT instead. I don't think that's the problem. Let's try it though. What the heck? Get that right. You had to sleep. Except the localhost, it's CouchDB. Actually, I don't even care about that. I just wanted to see if it exists. And let's do sleep 5 instead of 10. I really don't think that's related though. Maybe I should try these options though, huh? Maybe that's the. Configures the health checker correctly, perhaps. Except I'm pretty sure this up endpoint doesn't exist for CouchDB 2.2, but I'm not sure. I'll try it. I think that's newer than that version. Stupid white space. Let's see what kind of difference that makes. Didn't like that. Good syntax, parsing 5. All right, so what's going on there? I don't look at better Docker health checks here. I don't know if I find anything useful or not. No, it's in a Docker file. I don't want that on Docker run. Well, I'm going to get rid of this for now. It's probably not working. If the actual problem is waiting, then the infinite loop will get there eventually. So I'll try that first. Meanwhile, while that's attempting again, continue to try to understand. Not resolve, could not resolve, could not resolve. Starting CouchDB service container. Yeah. CouchDB service is healthy. All right. Why doesn't this work? The sports thing, even though I'm pretty sure that's not relevant. Even if it were, it would be a different error message, I'm quite certain. Well, let's try that. Along with this different options format, I tried. Try two things at once, even though that's stupid. It seems to think there's an embedded new line in that variable, which is weird. I guess that's just the way this is being done. Try changing that. I don't actually know if that's the right thing. There's too many ways to quote strings in YAML. I never know which one to use. Okay. While I'm looking at this YAML thing, let me test this with just the ports. So I do it like this, apparently. But first, let's see if I'll be surprised. Yeah, still not working. Okay. So get rid of ports. I don't think it's going to fix it either, honestly. Because I think waiting 10 seconds would be more than enough for the service to come up. So I don't think the problem is the service. I don't think the health check is going to fix it either. So the service check looks like it did the job, the health check. Although I didn't actually notice before if it waited 7 seconds and it passed. But it's still not working. It still can't resolve the host. What's this container job thing? Is that something I missed before? Surely not, because I've already seen it running. Container job. Why did I not notice that before? Okay. Okay. All right. Don't know why I didn't see that before, but okay. I don't know what that actually means. If that's a magical label or if that's just an arbitrary job. I think it's just an arbitrary job name. Maybe this needs to be in a separate job. I don't know. Go to latest. Good. I guess it runs it all in its own special container here. That's fine, whatever. This also would help solve the question I had earlier, whether I need to create unique services for each like version of Go I'm using. I think this will mean the answer is no. Okay, let me just comment this out. Only minimal stuff to start with. I'll add things in. Let's see if that does it. Seems that I broke something because it's not even running the thing at all now. All right, what did I break? Runs on. Oh my goodness. How do I get a diagnostic for that, huh? Want to see the broken workflow file. What happened? Come on. Be some sort of error message that this is broken now. Okay, it's back. So something about this broke it. Runs on. Should be safe. Container, node 16 bullseye. Sure, whatever. Node 16 is old, but whatever. Services, yeah. You try without services. I don't know. Narrow down to where the actual error is. Okay, so that broke it somehow. I don't know though if that means that I made a mistake there or if it's just incomplete. When you run a job in a container, GitHub connects service containers to the job using Docker and secure defined page. Yeah, okay. Oh, this is probably what I was doing before, I guess. You run jobs directly on the container on the runner machine. GitHub configures the container network to enable communication from the source container to the Docker host. So the job container seems like the better way to go. Just don't know why it's not working. Wonder if this is outdated. Surely that's not the reason it's not working. I would get an error message then. What the heck is going on here? What YAML linting? In fact, my editor should be complaining enough about some of this stuff, right? What that means. I want to know what's wrong with the format of my file. Let me restart VS Code and see if it crashed. I don't care about Minikey. It was complaining earlier when I didn't have things right. Why isn't it complaining now? This is one of the reasons I don't like GitHub Actions. GitLab is so much uh, just more straightforward. There's less looking crap up. You basically write a script and it works. Services do take a while to debug on GitLab as well, to be honest. This is still going infinite loop. I have no idea. No idea what's going on here. I don't know how to get a debug output. Those are not the reasons this is not running. It's some sort of parsing or syntax error. It's got to be that. I want to see all of the actions. Don't get it. I don't get it. Did I copy that wrong? No, this is container block. I think both formats are actually valid. But let's see what else it says here. think that's it at all. Don't think that's it. Don't think env imports are required, but let's go ahead and add these here just to be safe. I'm doing more than one thing. I'm going to do one thing only. I'm going to change that only. Don't think it's going to help. I think ChatGPT is as confused as I am right now. Yeah, no difference. All right, we'll add these other sections, but I'm 100% sure, 99% sure it won't make a difference. This is tempting me to do the other change, the one I at the top of the program said I wasn't going to do it. I switched to GitLab entirely instead of GitHub. I already have most of that work in there. There's a tiny little bit that I can GitHub Actions. I have to switch. I don't know here. And the fact that I can't run 1.23 RC in GitHub is also pretty annoying. I'm sure there's a workaround for that, but it's pretty annoying. Looking for an example of another GitHub workflow worked on with services, but I don't think I have one. All right, I'm sure this isn't working, but let's check. Yeah, it's still not working. Okay, so let's try the other direction. So let's go back to putting the service where I had it, and we'll put the ports thing there and see if that makes a difference. I don't think it's going to work, but we're going to try. Well, I already have it here. I think I've commented. Ports. I think I already tried this and it didn't work, but one more time. If this doesn't work, I'm probably going to give up for today. When my brain's fresh again, I'll do some additional research, see if I find a different solution. If I can't, there has to be one. I know there has to be one because people use this stuff all the time. If I can't figure it out, I might go the other route and switch to GitLab instead. My service is coming up. It's waiting. So the health check seems to be working. Just doesn't know how to freaking connect to the host. Let me see what I was reading about the host name there. It was telling me something about that. Where was that? I could look for a newer node image because I'm sure that 18 is, or 16 is what I was using as ancient. don't know if that actually matters. And if that was a problem, I should have got an error message. I think. Let's try that again. Let's try 18 bullseye. That one should still be supported. I'm pretty sure that's the last version of Node, or the oldest version of Node on long-term support. Maybe they filter this out and they don't give reasonable error messages for some stupid reason. I'll be shocked if this works. Yeah, it doesn't. Oh my goodness. I'm quite frustrated. I think I'm going to give up. And maybe I'll tackle this again later, or maybe I'll switch to GitLab. I haven't decided yet. I definitely like GitLab better. So that is a strong reason. It just seemed like consolidating on GitHub was going to be easier. But if it's not working, it's not working. And if their docs are lying to me, which it seems to be the case, and or just varying error messages that really, really stupid. Anyway, I'm going to end before I start swearing or something like that. Still broken. So anyway, thanks for watching. Those of you who did, it wasn't a lot of people today. That's okay. Most of the time was just me being frustrated with GitHub Actions. So I'm going to do. But I'll be back next week, hopefully doing something else. This turned out not to be as interesting of a topic as I thought, since I just got stuck. So next week I'll probably do some more coding and go. And maybe I'll see you next week. Have a good time. Cheers.